There's the name guy.
What?
He's here.
Oh,
God, that's not leaned all the way back. I'm trying to think where Herb's at. Look at him. Muggsy. Yeah.
Everybody introduce themselves, and then we've got guys sitting in the crowd.
1 minute.
Oh, that would have been great. That would have been great. Oh, I needed one. Yeah.
10 seconds. Now. Welcome to RAF 08 here in Philadelphia. We've been, over the past 8 months, we've been setting records as the fastest growing emerging sports league. It's been incredible to see. And here at the Corey Center, we're going to break our ticket record as well. Tampa was our #1 show 2 weeks ago, and we already outsold the tickets from there. So we're going to have a loud arena, and we're grateful for everyone here, all the athletes, and it's going to be an incredible night tomorrow. We also announced RAF 09, and it's going to be in Texas, and we have RAF 10 that we announced yesterday in St. Louis. RAF 12 will be our anniversary show in Cleveland, and we're going to announce RAF 11 here next week. So we're booked out, and we're here to stay. And again, we appreciate all of you guys.
Yeah, thanks for coming, guys. We appreciate the support, and it's not getting easier, but it's definitely getting smoother. The athletes are just unbelievable to work with. We got 9 guys making their debut. We got 6 different countries represented. We got 2 UFC champions. We have 6 Olympians, 4 gold medalists, 8 world medalists, 12 NCAA champions. I mean, the who's here, and then I couldn't be more proud. So let's just take some questions for the wrestlers, or if anybody got any questions for us.
Mike.
Chad, Izzy, good to see you guys. Chad, I want to start with you. Every city and location you go to, you say has a special meaning for you. What about Philadelphia made this a must-stop at for RAF 08?
Well, I think it's more so that Philadelphia is just a great wrestling city, right? We did Penn State RAF 02. We're picking states that we know and cities that we know that are, like we talked about last time, high dense wrestling populations that we know people are going to show up. The energy is going to be insane, and Philly is one of those cities. So we're excited about this, and we're going to keep targeting Midwest, East Coast, West Coast. But this is a great city. It's a fight city, and it's a wrestling city. So we're excited.
And then for you, Izzy, you just ran off all the credentials of all the athletes competing on this card, and as part of the matchmaking team, how giddy does that make you that you get to assemble a card like this with world champions and gold medalists and UFC champions, this eclectic mix all coming together to compete on Saturday?
Well, that was the fun part. The hardest part was I got a lot of love for this city because UPenn's here. They've taken a chance on a couple of my wrestlers from Izzy style. They've given the opportunity to go to the Ivy League education. So I've always felt like I had to, wanted to come back and do something awesome for this town and do it any chance I could, and I think the hardest part was not getting my man Devin Casey on the card, who's a young wrestler at UPenn right now. So that was probably the toughest part, but just knowing this big city, knowing the type of people are here, knowing we got Merab and the Georgians on the card. I mean, we got the best international wrestlers. It's truly a dream come true.
Chad over here. Yeah. First stop in Philadelphia, obviously selling out Liakoris is huge. Is it a goal of yours someday to actually take this show down to Xfinity Mobile in South Philly?
I mean, I don't know if it's a goal. I think it's gonna, we're already doing that in Cleveland at Rocket Mortgage. It depends on the arenas and where we go, but I think we're hitting all our goals. And if the arena's the right arena, we're gonna go there. But I think we'll be in Philly next year. We're going. Plan is to hit Philly next year. Jersey, possibly Long Island, but we're talking all the arenas. What's really cool is when we started this, we were at the Wolstein Center in Cleveland, August 25th. A lot of arenas didn't even talk to us, right? Now they're all reaching out, so they know RAF's a staple, and that so I think every arena that we think is a good target we'll hit.
And then Izzy over here, when you were building this card, any discussions with Philadelphia UFC fighters, Joe Pyfer, Sean Brady, any of those guys, or interest in the future?
Yeah, they're a bunch of them be in the stands, tomorrow. Eddie Alvarez was hurt, or we'd probably put him on the card. It's been crazy. Our inbox is unbelievable with the amount of people that are interested in this. But we had the amazing headliner, and then we snuck Arman and Urijah in the card, and it's just been putting this card together was awesome. And we got Lotto on the card from his last performance. He was so disappointed we had to get him on this card, and it's his birthday, so I want to give a shout out to Lotto wherever he's at. It's his birthday on Saturday, so we're pretty excited for him too.
Well, happy birthday. And last one from me, just with Gable on the next card being announced to UFC. This is for both of you even. How do you guys think he fares in that UFC heavyweight division?
I was in the fight game for a long time, and it's a little different than wrestling. Sometimes there's a lot of wrestlers out there that would get the shit kicked out of them in a wrestling match, but then go out there and fight. Probably kick the shit out of that guy that kicked the shit out of him in wrestling. So it's a different game. And I think Gable's got the right people behind him. I was a member of Jackson Wink Academy in Albuquerque, New Mexico. It was a home of mine for 10 years with the greatest people in the country, the greatest fight fans in the country, the greatest fighters in the country, but most importantly, the greatest coaches. Greg Jackson, Mike Winklejohn, Brandon Gibson, all my team down there are just unbelievable guys. And he's got the GOAT, John Jones, in his corner. I mean, that's a pretty tough combination to beat, and you're Gable Stevenson. So I wish him the best. I'd love to see him wrestle more than fight, though.
Yeah, and we've been talking. Gable's one of the first conversations Izzy and I had with Hulk right when we started the league. So it's good to see him. I don't think he could avoid joining RAF.
Chad, I have a question. This is Anton with Fighting for Success. So obviously it's a numbers game, right? And their numbers are just going crazy. On that, you got pure wrestlers and you got entertainment wrestling. You guys see this going forward. What is important to you when you're picking these matchups and things like that? Is it the personality? Do these guys and girls need to be building a personality to get the views? Or is it purely, hey, you're a good wrestler, let's get after it?
I think we're just showcasing wrestling. A lot of people talk about this all the time. Kobe Covington is a good example of that. He was a two-time All-American. Henry is a great example, Olympic gold medalist / UFC champ. So I think for us, it's just about creating entertainment. We're entertainment and wrestling. If we just stuck in a purist mindset, we wouldn't be able to drive the mainstream. I'm a purist. Izzy's a purist. We love watching wrestling. But the idea is that we're trying to educate the world on why wrestling is such a great sport. So having these crossover matchups bring that awareness to us. And so I think that we're trying to build brands. And so when you got guys like Merab or Henry or Colby joining cards, they're passing the torch and helping other people build their brands. In wrestling, our wrestlers are the biggest stars. The idea is that we drive that mainstream audience and really grow this to be a platform, and that more and more kids that are coming to our events that never wrestled, they're coming with their friends. They're starting to join clubs. I see it all the time. They're going with their friends to clubs now because they come to an RAF event. They're like, this is awesome, and I want to go get involved in this. So that's the goal when we started this, was to really just grow the sport. And so however we can do that, we're going to do that.
All right, we're going to go to the first panel. Cruz, Bird, Sharipov, and Cassioppi, please. Come to the stage, guys, please. Thank you. go ahead.
You know, when we were putting the Philly card together and we kind of talked about it, I had such a cool relationship with Darian Cruz because I was saying earlier, my student Devin Casey was here at UPenn, and I have a Puerto Rican background, and my dad is in Puerto Rico half the year, and we know the coaches down in Puerto Rico, and they happen to be his coaches for the Olympics. So we were just down there a couple months ago, and they're like, Izzy, you know, you got to take care of Darian. I'm like, oh, don't worry, we're going to take care of him. So, Darian, how's it feel to be on the card, brother?
Yeah, it's exciting. When you hit me up about this card, and I mean, Chad mentioned it. Philly's a fight city, combat city, wrestling city. So I was excited for the whole opportunity.
And one fun fact too: a year ago, was it a little over a year ago? Me and Izzy were at U of I, and we were at a bar with Hulk Hogan and this guy over here. Hulk asked Lucas a question. He's like, "Hey, what are you gonna do? What do you want to accomplish this year?" And he's like, "I'm gonna win an NCAA championship." And that was the year he won it. But they looked at me and Izzy like we were crazy when the idea was thrown to him. So, Lucas, how does it feel full circle to be back here?
I mean, it's awesome to see the full circle and whatever, like what's going on with wrestling right now. It's something that's exciting, and to like be able to be a part of this and be able to help grow wrestling and put on a show is something I'm looking forward to do.
When we did this, a lot of our friends and family didn't get to meet Hulk because we were just like on the move. He was a worker, but it was so cool because Lucas did get to come out and party with us one night.
Yeah, it was awesome meeting Hulk and just kind of getting to experience that like life. And it's definitely one of like the meetings. Like I remember FaceTiming my dad, and I was like, "Dad, look who I'm hanging out with," and he was like, "Holy shit, you're hanging out with Hulk Hogan!" And it was like my dad like still talks about it.
We'll go Mike at the back.
Mike.
Darren, hearing Izzy tell the story about how you got on this card and everything, what does it mean for you to be a part of this sort of rising revolution of getting wrestling more popular and representing Puerto Rico?
Yeah, I mean, talking about the rise of the wrestling in the production sense, growing up and being all with the Team USA and the training camps from when we were youth and all the way up, we would always talk about like how big wrestling could be. So for it to finally get this platform and stage to really excel has been great. And like Izzy mentioned with Puerto Rico, it's great. A bunch of the people from the island have been reaching out to me, the coaches, trying to get whoever's in Philly some tickets. But yeah, it's just all love, both in Philly and from Puerto Rico. So, I mean, you'll feel it once the show starts.
And Lucas, hearing stories about you hanging out with Hulk and given the promise that you're going to win an NCAA championship, and now all this time later, when you look back on it and the legacy of Hulk Hogan and knowing that you did get to spend some time with him before he unfortunately passed, what did that night mean to you, and what does it mean to you now to compete on that card with the benefit of hindsight?
Yeah, it was an awesome night. It was fun to hear the idea, and like Chad had said at the time, it was like, oh, is it actually going to happen? Is it? But to see it like all come full circle, and Hulk explained like what the vision was and what kind of he wanted out of it, and it's to entertain and it's to get the best athletes in the country and best UFC wrestlers to get out here and to help grow the sport and put on a show for everybody.
And then, please. Yeah.
Anthony, the last time we saw you was in Chicago against Taz Hudanoff. Thoughts on that match and thoughts on your opponent? And did you watch Taz Hudanoff in his last match? Do you want to get a rematch there?
Yeah, thoughts on that match. Obviously, I'm disappointed with the result. That was my first match in almost 2 years, so it was nice getting back on the mat and competing. I was in that match for sure. Got a little greedy on a gut wrench and got stepped over. So yeah, that is a match I would want back. I think I was right there with him, and I think a little bit better match strategy. I come away with that.
And then thoughts on your opponent?
I've watched a little bit of him. He's obviously a capable wrestler. I feel pretty good though. I've been training, had some more matches since that last match. Feel good, ready to go.
And last question: what happened to your eye?
I got poked.
Okay.
Got a good finger up it.
I think Shane.
Tony over here, Eric Shermanara. I have a question. With the heavyweight division getting more and more stacked, seemingly by the week, do you have any pressure to put on an entertaining performance and not just win Saturday night?
I'm not really putting any pressure on myself to have an entertaining performance. I'm just going to go out there, look to score points, and let the wrestling do it. I like exciting matches. I'm not a guy who likes to go out there and have a 1-1 match. So I think just my wrestling style should be entertaining.
Thank you, Tony.
Lucas, question for you. Styles make fights. You got Darian Cruz. He's slick, 3-time senior world teamer. Olympics, 5th at the Olympic Games. You are about physicality and pressure. You're a folk style guy. How do you contrast that matchup, the styles?
So I got to help Darren get ready for the Worlds kind of last year when he was prepping everything, wrestling at UPenn. So kind of having a feel of what he's got to offer, and then obviously wrestling with Zane Richards. Him and Darren had a lot of matches in the past, so kind of getting to help Zane prep for that and pick Brian Medlin's brain of about the concept of taking to matches and the right approaches to things has been something that's been a huge help.
Darian, I'll ask you this question. You are such a calm, cool guy, always level. How do you flip that switch on big stages?
Very similarly. Me and Lucas have known each other for a little bit. Like you said, full circle moment. He was talking to Hulk about winning the national title, and then likewise over some winter breaks, we got together through a mutual friend, and we basically had the same conversation. I think you're gonna be a national champ this year. So getting into the weeds of it, we've wrestled a bunch of times in training, and it's gonna be an exciting match. And I mean, he mentioned it. We've got the feels for each other, but. Just like you mentioned, being slick and savvy and being tactical is where I'm going to be.
Шамиль, ассаламу алейкум, брат. Добро пожаловать в Филадельфию. Хотел спросить пару вещей, что ты думаешь о своем сопернике и что он тебе смог показать, и что ты думаешь, какие-нибудь сюрпризы его ждут. И я переведу быстро, они попросили. Hey everyone, Shamil, welcome to Philadelphia. What do you think about your opponent? Did you watch his matches? And he needs to wait for anything? Any surprises from you? Thank you.
Я видел схватку его с Ахмедом. Крепкий парень. Ну, у меня есть для него некоторые заготовки. Завтра я покажу красивую борьбу.
Иншаллах. Удачи, брат.
Спасибо.
He said, I watched match with Ahmed. They have a good match. I have respect for him, and I try to show good wrestling tomorrow.
Okay, thank you very much, guys. We're going to go to the second panel. Oliver, Vranbil, Woods, and Ashnault. Thank you very much, guys.
All right, Anton with Fighting for Success. Right here, yeah. So, Real and Jordan, you're known throughout the wrestling world, but you also carry a bit of a swagger, right? You guys got your own thing, your own brand, you look a certain way. What does it mean to have a platform like RAF that is not only welcome, but it's encouraged? You have your personality out in front, not only on the wrestling mat, but also with just who you are as a person. I love what you guys do on and off the mat, so just curious how that fits with RAF.
Yeah, I think it's promoting all of our personalities in a special way. I think this is exactly what wrestling has needed, and it's exactly what us as wrestlers have needed, because this is the part that you guys don't really see, on the world scene and even in collegiate wrestling. So it's a very special platform to be able to present yourself as you are and be appreciated. You say we got swagger, that I appreciate that, and you get to present yourself, right, just as who you are, and that's a special thing.
I think it's awesome, right? RAF gives us the platform to be not only swaggy, drippy, whatever you want to call it, but it lets us be ourselves, right? It lets us present our unique selves, and all of us are different. And from the wrestling standpoint, wrestlers are looked at, and I said this before in a press conference, we're supposed to look a certain way, talk a certain way, walk a certain way, right? So we get almost put, the accolades that come along with it, you almost get put on the status of a superhero, right? So you can't do no wrong, but RAF giving you this platform allows kids, to look up to guys like Real, myself, guys on this stage and be like, it's okay to be yourself as long as you're happy and you're loving what you do, right?
Thank you.
Nick Costco on three. This question for Mike and Anthony. Obviously, you guys were teammates in college. You're both making your debuts close to your own backyard. What's it like being on this stage and I guess just being back on the competition floor for the both of you?
Yeah, it's awesome being here with Anthony. We, got to grow up and wrestle and train, and even was my coach at one point. So definitely thankful to have him by my side on the stage, and just grateful to be here as well and get after it for a real American Freestyle coming up.
Yeah, it's awesome to have a teammate, someone you went to college with. Always good to be a little bit comfortable, and for both of us, it's in our backyard. We're driving home after Wednesday night's meeting and Thursday after the photo shoot. So we got home court a little bit advantage, being in our backyard, and I think we'll have tons of family and friends that are hitting us up trying to come to the match. So that part's awesome. Getting back with Mikey just to train a couple times has been awesome because we've been doing our own thing for like 3 to 4 years now and haven't really crossed paths with wrestling at all. So that part's fun too, man. Rekindling a relationship that we've had for a long time, man. His brother beat me at War at the Shore when we were like 8 years old, so I had to get my hands on Mikey just one more time. I've been thinking about that match a little bit. Johnny threw it on Instagram not too long ago. So, but other than that, man, things are good.
And one more for you, Anthony. You were obviously going from competition, trying to make the Olympic team a few years ago, into coaching. What brought you back to the competition scene? Considering it seemed like you were just going to go fully into coaching over the last couple of years.
What brought me back is this, man. This promotion, it's amazing. It's everything that as a kid growing up as wrestling being my number one sport and what I looked up to. I originally looked up to guys like Jordan Burroughs and Frank Molinaro winning New Jersey titles, and then they crush it on the college scene and the senior level scene, and those were my idols. So now we have a platform that's like the UFC, and that's my favorite sport as well. So it's just what this organization stands for is what brought me back. When they reached out, it was one thing that was almost impossible to say no. When I train every single day with college guys, was it the senior level circuit? No, but for 4 to 6 weeks to lock in and have a great matchup with someone like Real Woods, man, sign me up. And that's what I told him. I said, yeah, all right, I guess no warm-up match, but sign me up. I'm in.
Real question for you. What excites you most about mobbing with Anthony Ashnault? And then I just want you to talk about you and Coach Izzy go way back, just the impact he's had on your life.
Second question's can be a long-winded question. But the first question, what excites me about wrestling, Anthony, I mean, he's got a list of accolades, and he's been very successful in the sport, and I have a lot of respect for what he's done. So it's exciting wrestling anyone who's of caliber, of his caliber. So that's that question. Second question with Izzy, I mean, man, he's had a tremendous impact on my life since, I was, 11, 12 years old. He really has helped change the trajectory of my life in a special way. And I wouldn't be here. I mean, RAF here, none of us would be, but I really wouldn't be as successful as I am in this sport, maybe in my life, if it wasn't for him and his part in my life. So,
quick question for you, J.O. Your accolades, laundry list. You have done so much in this sport. What's the one thing you're most proud of in what you've accomplished?
One thing I'm most proud of. I don't think it's something I've accomplished. I think it's just sticking with the sport for as long as I did, as I've done, through all the ups and downs, right? The highs, the lows of just sticking with it, even though it's hard. There's times where you're like, trust me, there's a lot of times where you want to quit, right? But just learning life lessons, right? And deciding to get back up and keep fighting, right? So I think that's what I'm most proud of about, even taking 3 years off and going into MMA. Being able to come back and compete and do something I love, there's nothing that'll ever replace that. right? So it could be wrestling in the wrestling room. It could be wrestling at the Olympic finals. It could be RAF. It doesn't matter. If it's wrestling, I love to do it. So I think, you know, I'm more happy and proud about my continued success and battle to keep fighting and becoming a better wrestler and a better person.
My question is for Mike. Mike, Jordan is not the real American Freestyle champion, but he is the linear champion, and he is undefeated, and he is a very hard draw for your first time out. How do you feel about Jordan Oliver? And straight up, can you beat this guy?
Yeah, Kale. To answer the second question, I 100% believe I could beat Jordan Oliver. And yeah, he's on a 3-fight win streak, but man, I have so much confidence in my ability. I'm coming down from 165, about 20-pound cut. I'm super professional with how I go about everything, from the weight cut to the promotion, the marketing, and then getting here and actually wrestling on that stage. I believe that my best wrestling is when I'm able to just flow and compete and kind of be the underdog, and that's when I've always showed out, is when I'm the underdog. And I feel like I don't have that pressure to win. And, Saturday night, I'm going to go out there free, and I'm going to take out Jordan Oliver, and then I'm going to go on a tear in the featherweight division and really become, a staple in the real American Freestyle division. Thanks, Chad and Izzy, for giving me the opportunity, but I'm going to fully run with it and, take this division by storm.
Yeah, Van Bro hit us just real quick. He hit me and Izzy up for
a million times.
Since we started this league, I kid you not, every single day we got a text from Van Bro, I'll take anybody. Just give me a shot. So he got a shot. And how is your weight right now? You said you had 20 pounds. How's it right now?
So I got done wrestling with Anthony yesterday, and I weighed out at 145.0. So I've been taking this, whole foods diet, training twice a day, wrestling with some of the best guys in the country. I train up at Rutgers University, and then they got some guys coming in from the RTC as well. Sammy Sasso, I've been working close with him. He was a competitor of mine back when I was competing at college. So I've trained with the best, I've wrestled with the best, and I beat the best. So as long as I go out there and wrestle freely into my best potential, there's no way he's beating me.
Thank you, guys. We're going to wrap that one there. Group number 3 will be Palmer, Henshaw, DeJulius, and Khinchegashvili. Thank you all.
I already have them. Anybody?
I made the joke when Lance got up here. I asked him what he was doing here, but just teasing him that he's wrestling on this card. A lot of people. We have a wonderful team. Our teams are just unbelievable. The people that are helping us behind the scenes they just go above and beyond, and we're vibing together, and everything's coming together. And Lance is just a huge part of our team, and he really does help us. He's got all these tasks every day, and he's just so organized, and he's just an honor to have him. So I'm just kind of teasing him that I didn't know he was wrestling this weekend because he's been working so damn hard all week. It's pretty cool to see him do both.
Right here, Johnny, you're a kind of guy that does crazy things, right? Like I've seen you jump off buildings, ride the top of airplanes. I mean, you do crazy stuff. I got to ask you, which is scarier, doing that or facing an Olympic champion?
That's a good question. Actually, what's funny about all the stuff that I do? A lot of people will kind of approach me and say, like, oh, you're fearless. You swim with sharks, you base jump. And when you're standing on a building at night and there's wind blowing and there's, maybe police down at the bottom, you're pretty scared, right? Like, at the end of the day, if you were not scared doing that, you'd be pretty naive. This is kind of a cliche thing, but the prerequisite to bravery is fear. So I don't like the term fearless. I kind of think, especially in the skydiving, parachuting world, we always say things like fear is your friend. Fear makes you check your parachute twice, right? It's kind of a thing for us. Do I want to operate out of fear all the time? No, I don't want to, do an extra rep because I'm scared to lose. That's probably not the best motivator. But I think that, you know, when you're wrestling someone like Lotto, when you're jumping off buildings, when you're wrestling Olympic champions or doing adventures, whatever it is, I think that, you know, leaning into the fear is a good thing. I'll never pretend I'm fearless, right? That's not something that I'll ever act too tough about. I'm scared as crap. Freaking Olympic champion. But being able to overcome fear and then shooting anyways, or being able to overcome fear and stepping forward anyways, that's true bravery. And I think that's more badass than ever acting like you're fearless.
Eric Shermanar here. I got a question for you, Vladimir. Your last match against Bo Bassett, there was a moment when there was a little awkwardness. You grabbed him and kind of pulled him aside. What did you say to him?
I just say, this is wrestling, this is not fight. Let's do wrestling.
Didn't want to end up like Giorgio.
No, I respect my opponent, the people who see us, and wrestling is history sport, and we must do everything for our sport.
Awesome.
Good.
Thank you. And I got one for Lance Palmer. What do you think the prime age is for wrestling compared to MMA?
I think all that depends on weight class. You see a lot of heavyweights that are fighting at the highest level, and they could fight into their 40s. I think Cormier fought till he was like 41 or 42. The lighter weight guys, I would say, you know, late 30s is probably on the high end if you do everything right. What do you think, Henry? Yeah. Me and Henry are like 2 days apart in age, so. But yeah, I would say the smaller guys are about, you know, mid-30s if you do everything right throughout your career.
Lotto, first off, happy birthday. And second off, how does RAF compare to the Olympic stage that you're coming from? And were you overwhelmed at all to see, you know, what RAF is and going up against Bo Bassett in your last match?
Yeah, he's saying it's not much different for him. This is also very high level competition, so he's taking it too serious, and this is good for the sport. So he hopes that it will continue to be as successful as it is now.
Thank you. And then, go ahead. Okay. And then it said that you are a member of the Georgian Parliament. Is that accurate?
Yes.
Yes. And are you doing this to bring more eyes to the Georgian Parliament, or is it, how can you be a member of the Parliament and also a wrestler? How do you balance your time?
I can.
Oh, I know. Yeah. Okay.
Easy.
Lance, over here. Just wondering, thoughts on Caden, this match? I know you're on a 2-fight skid in RAF, so how important is it to really get this win this time?
I think it's more important for me to just go out and prove to myself that, you know, I'm still Lance Palmer. I've accomplished a lot in my life in wrestling and MMA, and it's more for me to accomplish this for myself, not really to prove to anybody else. I've had 2 tough opponents in the past, so I'm not really holding much weight against the other 2 guys. They were really good guys to wrestle, and I mean, Austin Gomez was an Olympian the year before at that weight class, and very good opponent. And then Arman obviously is a world-class athlete at his weight class in MMA and wrestling. With a private jet because of American Airlines. But I mean, Caden's great for our sport, though. I mean, a lot of the kids look up to Caden. He's done a great job building his brand and doing everything that he's done. Which I don't take anything away from that. I just feel that I'm the better wrestler in this scenario, and the only way to do that is to prove it tomorrow night.
And then, Caden, back to you. Same question. Thoughts on Lance? Also, mutual respect.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Lance has accomplished so much, not only just in wrestling, but the MMA space. And just to have the opportunity just to wrestle him, even though, of course, he's 0-2, but I mean, clearly he's, facing, prime Gomez and Arman and just getting back out there. And I lost my last match. I'm looking to get back on the win streak and share the mat with him. So it should be fun.
Want to ask you this question, Johnny. I think one of the coolest things about RAF is what Chad alluded to earlier, the connection with the athletes and the fans. You guys have those clinics. You're one of the best clinicians in the country. Speak to that, what that experience has been like and how cool it is for RAF and bringing the young fans into the sport.
I was actually just talking about this the other day. Something really cool that RAF does, or something really cool that wrestling does in general that other sports don't do. If you're a kid playing basketball, you don't really have access to LeBron James. If you're a kid playing soccer, you're not really going to have access to Lionel Messi. But what RAF has done is we have fans meeting all of us tomorrow before the match. We have a wrestling clinic, with J.O., with Real Woods, me, Caden Henschel was at the last one. We have a wrestling clinic where these kids get to meet, the best in the world at their sport. So the access that RAF gives to like a young kid, I feel like it's really inspiring and it's really unique. There's not a lot of other sports that I see have access to. Like a kid right now who just started wrestling could really meet Kyle Snyder. That's insane. Like that's insane that RAF presents that opportunity for kids. That doesn't happen anywhere else. So I just think that's unique, and I'm really thankful to be a part of that because clinics is what I love. I love wrestling, but I love teaching. I love clinics, and I'm just excited for Sunday to get to work with all the kids and just show them, just help kids fall in love with the sport that I love. That's my main goal probably in life, right? That's the thing I love most.
Nick Costco on 3. Johnny, this question's for you as well. Along the same veins that you're very outspoken on social media about rule tweaks and how the sport can be better. Just a little bit. What do you make of what this organization has done to, I guess, modify the freestyle rules a little bit, and what can be done, I guess, for college and also, I guess, wrestling in general, how this rule set is compared to others?
Yeah, I have a lot of opinions on rule sets, but I don't want to come off like pessimistic all the time. I love wrestling, right? So sometimes when I criticize, critique, speak my voice, sometimes it's kind of just me stirring the pot a little bit to get wrestling onto a lot of platforms. I like when people are talking about the sport, debating the sport. I think it's really good for wrestling. But in general, wrestling doesn't do a good job selling. We have storylines, we have drama, I always call it Kardashian-level drama in our sport. I always say we have that, but nobody knows about it because we don't share it. And what Chad and Izzy have done is they shared it. We have storylines. How many people came up to you? I'm sure all the wrestlers here, how many people came up to you guys talking about Giorgio and Arman in the past month? It's been insane. They have never wrestled a day in their lives. That is a byproduct of what RF has done. And I'm just thankful for that. I'm thankful that we are able to share the sport that I love, again, the thing that I love most, onto other people's timelines that otherwise would never see the sport.
Thank you, guys. Can we get Nolf, Blaze, Valencia, and Sinclair, please? Nolf, Blaze, Valencia, Sinclair. Thank you, guys.
They're zeros. Non-alcoholic.
All right, right here, Anton, Fighting for Success. Aiden, I have a question for you real quick. RAF this weekend, next weekend, 2 different age divisions. I mean, how do you continue doing what you're doing at the age you're at? Does it get overwhelming? I mean, you're a stud. You just got off of NCAAs. Tell me a little bit of that. That's incredible.
Yeah, I think it's just been instilled in me from a young age. Ben always pushed us to compete. You really never know where you're at if you're not competing. And I think especially now, I don't really want to change that. I'm 20 years old. I'm still healthy. I know some older guys, they struggle with recovery and they want to be a little bit more careful about what they do competition-wise. But I'm still flexible. I can recover. I sleep 8 hours. I'm good. So I'm gonna do it while I can because there's gonna be a time when I can't. And so for me, I just think it's. I tell all the kids too at our kids club. It's take advantage of the opportunities you're given. That is a fun weekend for me. This is a fun weekend for me. Next weekend's a fun weekend for me. There's nothing else I'd rather do. So it's I'm getting paid to come have fun.
Jason back here. All the way in the back, Jason. So
we're an MMA website, so a lot of the times we're out here just covering the UFC fighters. But even my colleagues back home remembered your name from RAF 7. They're like, Jason Nolf is like one of the stars of the event. Even some of them were saying RAF should kind of build around you based on your performance and how eccentric you were at RAF 7. Have you noticed a little bit of a momentum change as far as fan following, Instagram followers, stuff like that after the performance you had at 7?
Yeah, I think that everybody's excited to watch me compete. I go out there and look to create as many opportunities and score as many points as possible and put on a show. So that's something I've done my entire life. So, yeah, I'm excited. That'd be cool to build it around me.
I mean, Valencia, I would assume you would want some of that build as well. You've had a lot of success here. You've competed for RAF multiple times. And obviously, Aeoden had a great performance in his most recent matchup. What are your thoughts on him as an opponent and this opportunity tomorrow night?
Yeah, for sure. This is my 4th event now. I'm looking for that title shot one of these days, but at the same time, I'll go up against anyone. I've said yes to every opponent that Izzy's mentioned. And for Aeoden, I have a lot of respect for all the competitions that he's going to. He just went through the grind of the college season, immediately went to another RAF event, now doing this with me, and then next week the US Open. So, it's awesome to see that, and I have a lot of respect for that, and I'm just happy to be able to contribute to, you don't lose, but you learn. So I'm going to contribute to his learning process, and hopefully he grows going into next week.
Question over here for Aeoden. At 20 years old, you're so young to be having all these opportunities that RAF is presenting you. Do any of these opportunities change the course of how you set your wrestling goals moving forward?
No. I think I talked to Ben about this on the phone, but it's not every day you get to wrestle a world champion. Not every day you get to compete at the highest level. I mean, you think about wrestling before RAF existed, you would really only get maybe like 2-3 opportunities over the course of a year to wrestle these best guys. So for me, it's just more data points, more opportunities. And yeah, we'll see tomorrow night. I think that was kind of funny, but I'm slick. I'm a little slick, so we'll see.
Joey Blaze, welcome to RAF. You're making your debut. Thoughts on the promotion and your opponent, Jason Nolf. What are your thoughts?
I don't know. It's pretty nice. Izzy gave me the call and the opportunity, so I'm just grateful for him. And then Nolf's a GOAT, so, just trying to take him out and, have fun. Score a lot of points, too. I think that's pretty important to keep it fun. Yeah, so that's it.
Jason, right here. So you obviously are known for doing all the wrestling stuff like that, but you also dabble in some of the other, organizations and stuff like that. Is this where you're going to set up shop? Is this your home? Or are you building off of this? Or what's the plans for Jason Nolf in the future here?
Yeah, I think that I've put a little bit of a pause on jiu-jitsu just because I love competing at RAF, and it's hard to prioritize doing both, or to at least train for both consistently. So I still love training jiu-jitsu, and, it's one of my favorite things. But, yeah, just focusing on RAF right now mainly.
It's for Joey. Joey, you planning on making this your permanent weight at RAF, or are you planning on going back down to your college weight?
Are you saying I'm small? No, I'm just kidding. No, I don't really care, honestly. I told Izzy I'll wrestle anybody, anywhere, anytime. I'll do whatever. It doesn't really matter to me. Wrestling's wrestling at the end of the day. So, yeah, maybe I'll get big, or we'll just see where the matches go after this. I'm just kind of focused on Jason and, trying to put on a performance that everyone is excited about. Yeah, so that's about it. Just trying to have fun.
I was just curious because I thought it'd be kind of cool to see you wrestle David Card in the future.
Yeah, I'd be interested for that.
Anybody else? Juliana, go ahead.
Last question for Aeoden. Do you, UFC fighters, we have fight names. They're not given to us. They're not chosen. They're given to us. Do you have a wrestling nickname, and can it be Iron Man because of how active you are and all these other things that you're doing?
Iron Man? Nah, it's actually probably the opposite. They call me the Panda. I don't I somewhat get it. I don't know, but Ben called me the Panda when I was 16 at Fargo, and for some reason it stuck with me. So Red Panda is usually what people call me. But I don't mind Iron Man, you know. Iron Man 1's best Marvel movie out there, so
No, Red Panda it is.
Okay.
All right, I think we'll leave it there. That's great. Thank you, guys. Next one up, Maroulis, Janiak, Snyder, and Aitmukhan, please. Thank you.
She's great. Yeah. You know, as we're putting these fight cards together, you guys can kind of heard about my relationship with Real Woods and just a lot of these wrestlers. You know, Anthony Cassioppi, we coached against him in high school, and you know, when it was time to find a matchup for the greatest woman wrestler of all time, Helen Maroulis, it's a tough find. You know, there's not a lot of people that will step up and wrestle someone with the legacy like that. But my sister works for me here at RAF. She works with us. She's unbelievable. And her husband coaches Alexis. So Alexis. So it's pretty cool to be able to kind of pick it at a family dinner, kind of talk about we're looking for a matchup with Helen. And my brother-in-law said, my girl will do it. So it's pretty cool to have Janiak. I watched her grow up, you know, 10 minutes from my house and wrestle with my brother-in-law, you know, for the last 10 years. So it's pretty cool. And Lexi, how's it feel?
It's really exciting, of course, having the opportunity to wrestle someone that I've looked up to ever since watching the 2016 Olympics. Ever since that day, I was like, I'm going to be there, and now I'm here. So I'm excited to be on this card.
Helen, welcome back.
Thank you.
I'll try to talk. Oh, there we go. Welcome back. You're the champion. And, you know, Izzy was talking about it's kind of a hard time to find you opponent. So is it almost like a bit of a sigh of relief when the phone rings and an opponent is named for you?
Yeah, it's definitely amazing to get to be on this stage again and wrestle for RAF. I was low-key hoping there were some MMA women that would want to step up, maybe do that too. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, it's really nice that Alexis would do this, and she's a great competitor. She's a great athlete. She's coming up right now, and so I'm really excited to wrestle on Saturday.
Are there any MMA competitors you would like to get in there with?
I don't know. Anyone?
Juliana's right there.
I'm not calling anyone out. I'm open to it.
I don't want that smoke.
Yeah, we don't fight. We won't wrestle. We're good.
And then for you, Alexis, you know, you touched on this opportunity being presented to you and having the opportunity to face somebody that you've looked up to for so long. Have you been able to sort of put yourself in that position, what it's going to feel like to make that walk and step on that mat with Helen tomorrow night, what that's going to feel like?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I've prepared myself on whether it's an international stage or like wrestling in college. Like, I've been on that stage with the bright lights, and I'm no stranger to it. I've medaled at multiple age level competitions, so I feel like I've felt some of the best girls, and I'm looking forward to being out there. So.
Helen, question for you. Yesterday, Iowa State announces a women's program with Allie Reagan as the head coach. What's it like for you, being one of the pillars of girls' women's wrestling, to see it continue to just burst at the seams?
Yeah, yesterday with Iowa State adding the women's wrestling program, it's amazing to see. I've been saying it for a long time that it's coming. I think women's wrestling already is the fastest growing sport in high school, but that's going to continue to grow even at the university level. And just for myself, it's like when I started wrestling, there were 5 states out of 50 with girls state sanctioned wrestling. I grew up wrestling boys till I was 17 years old. So to know that girls will have this opportunity, I don't think people even realize how it's going to change things, because when you're a kid and you want to join the sport of wrestling, your parents are thinking, is there a scholarship opportunity down the line? Is there something that, you know, these girls are going to have to look forward to? And so this is amazing, and it's going to grow women's wrestling. And then to have things like RAF, where they're putting women on the card from the get-go, I think it's showing that we're here to stay.
Question for you, Kyle. Another world champion stands in your way. I mean, the guys that you've gotten to wrestle in your career, what makes tomorrow night interesting from your vantage point?
Yeah, Rizabek is, you know, world champion at 92 kilo and has only been getting better. in each tournament he's competed at 97 kilo. So I expect it to be a good match. I mean, he has got great condition, very offensive wrestler, and so I think it'll be a good match.
Question. Check. Question for Helen. We were just talking about potential future matchups. Have you put any thought into bumping up to middleweight for champ status?
Who's middleweight? What's middleweight?
Kennedy Blades.
Oh, yeah, I'd wrestle Kennedy. I don't want to get soup, though. So I'm definitely going to work on a game plan for that. No, but actually Kennedy, when she came out to Arizona, she was young and we got to train together, and then she ended up moving out there. And so wrestling her from when she first got out there to about a year into her lifting program and bumping up a weight, it was definitely a big difference. I couldn't really ragdoll her anymore. So, but I don't know. It could be fun.
Thank you. And a question for Kyle Snyder. If you're giving advice to someone, like a younger kid just getting into wrestling, what's the fastest way to improve your wrestling?
I mean, for me, it was always wrestling kids who were older and better than me. So, I mean, growing up, like, I was a big kid, so I was always wrestling. If I was in elementary school, I was wrestling middle schoolers and then high schoolers. And then when I was in high school, I was wrestling college kids. So just getting my butt whooped a lot and listening to the coaches. And then, you know, so I think that'd be the best thing for the kids is always finding the best training partner you can have and letting them beat you up for a while, and you'll definitely improve.
Awesome. Thank you.
Майк чек. Rizabek, ассаламу алейкум. Добро пожаловать в Филадельфию еще раз. У меня такой вопрос. Это очень большое имя, Кайл Снайдер. Что ты хочешь показать против него? И если ты его выиграешь, отправляем ли мы Кайла Снайдера на 2-3 года в Казахстан? Translation. Rizabek, welcome to Philly. My question is, if you beat Kyle Snyder, what do you want to show? What he should expect? And if you beat Kyle Snyder, would you invite him to 2-3 years Kazakhstan and show him the appreciation? Thank you.
Валейкум ассалам, брат. Спасибо за вопрос. Кайл — это легенда вольной борьбы. Когда он первый раз чемпион мира стал в 2015 году, мне 11 лет было. Я хотел побороться с ним в будущем, и сегодня у меня завтра ночью это получится. Я выйду, оставлю себя на ковре, сделаю все, что я смогу. Я уверен, что я, иншаллах, выиграю. А я думаю, что Кайла нельзя списывать, он очень сильный.
Thank you. And Kyle is a legend in this sport, and I have a big respect for him. You know, when he became world champion first time, 2015, I was 11 years old, and I, all my life, have a dream to wrestle with him one day. And thank you for RAF. Tomorrow it will happen, and I try to do everything what I can and try to win him. And guys, don't underestimate him too.
Rizabek, Кайл подчеркнул то, что у тебя очень сильная атакующая борьба. Будешь ли ты показывать схватку в том же духе или поменяешь тактику? Rizabek, Kyle said your wrestling is super offensive. That's your style. Are you going to wrestle the same way, or are you going to change your tactic? Thank you.
Я буду бороться так, как я умею. Не буду ничего придумывать. Все, что я умею, завтра покажу на ковре.
I don't find some new. I just try to my best.
Kyle, in the middle here, Jordan Kligman, Marquez MMA. How important, obviously every match is important and the belt's online, how important is it for you to win tomorrow, and what do you feel is at stake besides the belt, if anything?
I mean, yeah, every match. I mean, the goal is to win, and like, I have the belt, so I want to keep the belt and continue to wrestle the best opponents that RAF can get me. So, I mean, obviously the belt's at stake tomorrow night, so just look forward to having a great match and wrestling hard immediately.
And then for Rizabek, you're 8 years younger. How are you looking to make up the difference in experience, and what would it mean for you to come out on top?
Please, can you repeat because
Repeat that question for him.
Yeah, you're 8 years younger. How are you looking to make up in the experience department, and what would it mean for you to win tomorrow?
С каждым днем я себя все лучше чувствую в 97, и я готов сражаться в этой битве против таких легенд.
He said every day, every year, I feel myself better in wrestling. Also, I feel better in 97 kg, and I'm ready to wrestle with all legends in 97. And if you look to RAF roster, 97 kg is, you know, crazy. Sadulayev, Snyder, Tajudinov, and I'm ready to wrestle with everybody.
Kyle and Helen, just a question for both of you. You both have been at the top of the sport for over a decade at this point. What makes your longevity, stick at this point, considering all the young and up-and-coming talent in the sport across all levels?
I think I'm just crazy. No, I'm just kidding. No, I've wrestled for a really long time. I lost in the 2012 Olympic trials when I'd qualified the weight, and that broke something inside me, and I just swore that I always just want to do whatever I could to be on top and be the very best wrestler I could be. I actually gave wrestling, I surrendered it over to God, and I said, whatever you ask of me, I'll do it. I want to do it your way. I just don't want to have regret. So when I wrestle now, I get to wrestle for God. I think it's one of the reasons why I can wrestle for so long, because I don't get too caught up in wins or losses or pressure. I just always come back to this attitude of gratefulness, and this is a dream. So, yeah, I'm really grateful.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, I think there's a couple things. First of all, but one of the things is, being able to compete for a long time wasn't even possible for the most part in wrestling because there was no money in the sport. Like, wrestlers had to become coaches very quickly because, you just couldn't make a career out of competing. Like, Coach Kale at Penn State, I think he'd have the most championships out of anybody in the history of wrestling. He could probably still win right now, but he had to stop competing because he had a family. So opportunities like this at RAF and different sponsorships allowing us to compete longer, and the RTCs, that's really important. And then, like Helen said, just wrestling's a very brutal sport. People get hurt. It's hard on your body. And, God has kept me strong, allowed me to stay healthy so that I could continue to compete. And I'll wrestle as long as he tells me that it's what I should do. So that's what I'm focused on.
All right, thank you guys. Round of applause there. We're going to shift to Urijah Faber and Arman Tsarukyan. Thank you very much.
Arman, I'll ask you first question. 3-0. You've had quite the journey at RAF, starting off just coming straight from MMA to wrestling. What's your journey look like at RAF? You've wrestled. You're pretty active. It's your fourth match in 5 months.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for opportunity to wrestle here. Wrestling is not MMA. You don't get hurt, and you can compete every weekend. So that's why I don't cut too much weight, and I have fun here. I travel around U.S., and with my team, we compete, beat everybody, make money. So it's easy money for me,
Well, you're right. I suppose you want to respond to that. I think you just got called easy money. I don't think you've ever been called that before. How would you respond?
First, I want to congratulate Arman on being able to wrestle me. That meant you've made it. I think Connor called it a red panty night.
Thank you.
That's what it was. Bring out the red panties. But, yeah.
Should I give you my percentage from the money?
Excuse me?
Should I give the percentage from my the salary, from the percentage?
Sure, I'll take that. Thanks for offering. Chill. You want to negotiate the contract, get that signed for us, please? No, but I'm excited, man. This is, if anybody knows me, I've got a team of fighters. We've got probably 17 different countries on any given day in the room, and as soon as somebody walks in the room, I'm getting a grind match in to figure out where they're at. I've got guys from Kyrgyzstan, Kazakhstan, Chechnya, Azerbaijan, Dagestan. We've got China, Japan, UK, Australia, and if Arman was to walk into my room, I would have done this match for free, and it'd be a lot longer than 6 minutes, and I wouldn't be getting paid, and I wouldn't, get to take his number one contender spot in the UFC, which is on the line today for him. So just know that.
Yeah, you gotta say thank you to me because everybody forget about you. So, and tomorrow they're gonna remember about you again. But
you didn't forget about me. You've been thinking about me. I know that there's a plane incident, right? Everyone heard about the plane incident. No one heard about my plane incident because of Arman. I got flanked in a middle seat, which wasn't supposed to be negotiated, on United, by two Armenian heavyset twins. Both had hair that grows right in the middle of their forehead up back, just like Arman, which is a sign of testosterone, really. It goes, when it goes to the ranking on toughness that you're born into, and he's born with some gifts, born with some good luck, it goes Native Americans. Actually, Native American redheads would be the first. Then it'd be redheads. Then it'd be redheaded stepchildren. Then it would be guys whose hair starts in the middle of their forehead, stops growing right where their back starts, which what Arman has, and then chins are right behind that. So I'm in the make. I've got the chin going. He's one step ahead of me with the forehead, werewolf hair. But the long story short, I basically got flanked by these two Armenian women. Both had hair. Started right here. Both Armenian, raised in Georgia, living in Russia. I don't think they pay to hang out with people in California like Arman, but pleasant conversation, but it was very obvious this guy is trying to set me up. I think he hired these women. I was sitting there squished in between these ladies. It stunk. And at the end of it, we didn't even mention Arman. They said, hey, good luck with Arman. I said, oh, interesting. Meanwhile, he's getting kicked off United. This is all a setup. He's scared.